So when I first heard about finding your purpose and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on it and specifically Hamza when he started talking about it, I used to think it was, what was your goal? So a lot of the time my purpose was to make money or it was to get to 80 kg. But as I've gotten older and I've done more research into it and I've, done my own spiritual research and I've become Christian, I begin to realize that purpose excels the physical. So your purpose shouldn't be to make money. That should be a symptom of your purpose. See, when it comes to choosing your purpose, you want to choose something that's higher than the physical, more of a spiritual purpose. It's something outside yourself that serves others. Because the problem with having the purpose to make money, what does that even mean? Do you make it through business? Are you going to rob a bank? Like, how do you fulfill that purpose? And once you make the money, what's your purpose then? To go buy some clothes? And it all just stays in the physical and the material world. Whereas if your purpose is to inspire others or is to take your family out of poverty, sure, that's still to do with money, but that's a higher purpose because it's selfless. It's outside of yourself. And the thing is, what you get from pursuing your purpose, your higher purpose, is that you're going to be more fulfilled. You're going to attract more things into your life that is actually meant for you. See, I truly believe when it comes to finding your purpose or your higher purpose, whatever you want to call it, it has to fit three categories. Does it fit that you're a leader? Does it fit that you're a creator? And does it fit that you're inspiring people? And I believe if you tick these three boxes when finding your purpose, it means you have found something worthwhile pursuing. See, if I said my purpose was to pursue money, does that tick any of these boxes? Does it lead? Not really. Does it create? I guess it creates wealth, but does it inspire? Perhaps, but in the wrong way. I don't think you can really be like, yeah, I want to get 10k a month to inspire people. Like, what does that even mean, bro? What, by the watches you get, the cars you get? No, that's just ego. So when it comes to finding your higher purpose, you want to find something that excels this physical realm. You want to find something that's more spiritual and more for your soul. And it will change over time. It will always be fluctuating year to year. You'll have a different purpose year to year, but it's important when you find your purpose that you aim for a spiritual purpose, because it is just something that fulfills you and builds your character a lot quicker. And for me personally, I remember when I was maybe a bit younger, like a year ago, and I was still trying to figure out my purpose, trying to find that selfless purpose. I'd be like, oh, I'm doing this for my future kids. And that was a dwindling motivation. Like, it just didn't feel enough to call it my purpose. It just didn't feel solid enough. And as time's gone on, last year my purpose was to become the greatest artist of all time, and I wanted to inspire people through that. And then I went through a stage of just having no purpose. Like, I genuinely didn't know why I was doing things. I guess you could say my purpose was to make money. And it was just an empty void that I was living in. There was no inspiration. There was no love of my life. There was just day to day, same old thing, trying to make money. Whereas now it's more of a higher purpose I feel I've been called to, which is to make these YouTube videos, inspire people and bring people closer to God. One of the ways that I was able to find out my purpose and really figure out, like, what is my higher purpose? What does God want me to do on this earth? Was through fasting and prayer. I truly believe fasting and prayer is one of the most effective ways to find your purpose, but also to connect to the spiritual, because you're denying your flesh. Like, the biblical reasoning behind fasting is you're denying your flesh. You're dying to yourself. You're not letting the fleshly desires control you, and you're submitting yourself to God. And we're told in the Bible that if you want spiritual powers, you have to pray and fast, because that is how you reach the spiritual realm. And I have a story coming out soon on my most recent fasting and prayer. I did it for 2 days, and it is different to the one I've been talking about in the past. And I had a crazy dream, bro. I had a crazy dream, but I won't get into it now. But really, when it comes to finding your purpose, you need to just have blind faith that when you feel like you found your higher purpose, that is it. And it may fluctuate over time. I think the better word is evolve. Like, it won't stay the same from when you're 18 to 20 and 20 to 25. Like, it will change. But that's the whole point of it. It's meant to evolve. You're meant to fulfill that purpose and then evolve it to the next one. But if you're constantly chasing a purpose that lives within the physical, you're going to find it very hard to elevate past a certain point. Whereas the higher purpose, it brings you further in life. It brings you further down your evolution as a spiritual being. And if you're personally watching this video and you're like, but bro, I don't really believe in God, I'm not spiritual, start opening up to your spiritual life. Have you actually tried consciously to find God or to open up your spiritual eyes? Because there's a reason that people believe in God. There's a reason there's religion. It's because it's true. It's there. So if you're thinking, like, how do I open my spiritual eyes? There's many ways you can do it. I did it the wrong ways. I did, LSD, mushrooms, and that was what allowed me to see the spiritual realm. And I don't recommend doing that, but I'm just telling the truth on how I found it. But now I realize fasting and prayer is the portal to the spiritual realm, but the healthy way, the way God wants us to do it, without using external things to make us get there. Like, we just use our own conscious to get there, in a sense. You don't eat, you pray, and you're dying to your flesh, and that allows you to be more in tune with your spirit. There's a reason pretty much in every religion they do fasting. Like, you got Ramadan in Islam, in the Bible you have, I think it's Lent, and you give up something. But also in the Bible you read the reason they wasn't fasting when Jesus was there is because, well, God was there. They didn't need to fast. But as soon as he left, that's when they started fasting, because they had to mourn. They had to get close to God. And the only way to get close to God is through fasting and prayer. That is the best spiritual practice that you can do to get closer to God. And sure, you can do other things like meditation and stuff like that, but fasting and prayer is like the default. It is the answer to opening up your spiritual life. So yeah, finding your purpose is a journey. It's a forever growing thing. It's going to go through evolution. It's going to change. But it's good to just start off seeking it and trying to find it and trying to open yourself up to finding your higher purpose and receiving that message from God, which again is the best way, fasting and prayer. And just getting to know God's voice as well. Like, you need to spend time with God to be able to know when he's talking to you, when he's sending you a message, and it's not your ego or it's just a voice. Like, you want to know it's God, and the only way to find out is to spend more time with him. So when it comes to finding your purpose, choose something that exceeds yourself. It's more spiritual than using the physical purposes as, getting to 8kg, earning 10k a month. Those are goals and those are symptoms of a purpose. Your purpose should be selfless, and it should be giving your gift to the world and serving others and making the world a better place through inspiration, love, positivity.